I'm here to look at your Blazer.
All right, come on inside.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice. What can you tell me about it?
Well, it's definitely not a show truck, but it sure is a trailer queen.
What does that mean?
Oh, you'll find out. Okay, so we're back on the 87 Blazer today, okay? Our friend Jeff, he brought us this truck, Craigslist ad kind of thing. We've got a couple videos out on it. We hope you go back and watch them. There wasn't one bolt that was tight on this thing. I took the fuel tank out in it yesterday, and even the fuel lines weren't loose on the high pressure fuel side of it, okay? So we've gone ahead, we've done everything that we could do right now. We're gonna put an LS in it someday. We did the cooling system on it for an LS system. We put wires and plugs in it. I put the exhaust manifolds on it. Put the exhaust on it that came with the truck. But all we could do LS wise was make sure our cooling system was done. So we're gonna fire this thing up today. And in order to do it, we've got to put in a fuel system that will handle the LS system on it, but it'll also handle the FiTech system that we're going to put on it today, okay?
Sweet.
So that way we won't be doing anything twice, okay?
Awesome.
So let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, she got it.
Oh. The cart corral is back.
Yeah, gotta love it. As many carts as possible.
Yes.
Something to get in your way.
Uh-huh.
All right, so in order to make this fuel injection system work and our LS system work, we're gonna have to add a pump to this tank that can add, it'll have 58 pounds of fuel pressure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna put in what we always do. It's a Holley Sniper, okay? You'll put all the part numbers in the description, I'm sure.
Yep.
So this 87 originally had a throttle body, all right? And it ran off of about 12 pounds of pressure, but we need 58 pounds. And it's just a matter of buying a descending unit for the 87, and we're gonna just install a different fuel pump in it, all right?
Okay.
So, pretty simple.
Yeah, we've shown it on the, oh, what do you call it, like the saddle tanks?
Yeah, the side mount tanks, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you've seen me do this before, I'm sure. If you're lucky enough to have watched our videos.
Yes.
Right?
One of the cool kids.
Yeah. Make sure, all right, submersible hose.
Yes.
Okay. We had one in here last month that was put together without submersible hose, and it did not work.
Yeah, didn't turn out so well.
Nope. Fortunately, it quit working right as I pulled it up to the shop. But otherwise, I would have been towing it. It had no fuel pressure. It was somebody else's LS swap that they did.
It's here for a completely different reason.
Yeah, and it shows up, and I took it for a drive up the road, came back. It died, had no fuel pressure, and it was because somebody didn't use submersible hose.
Yep.
Okay.
And he said it came with a kit, so.
Yeah, he did say that, didn't he?
Yeah, some of that off-brand stuff
Right.
might not be so hot.
So I just use Holley stuff and stuff. All right. So I gotta find a clamp that fits this thing. I'm not gonna use the worm gear clamps, all right?
Yeah.
We're gonna use some pinch clamps. Okay. That one on there. And that truck had very few miles on it after the swap.
Yeah.
So it did not take long at all for it to ruin that. So use those if you can. Otherwise, you know, you're gonna have to use a worm gear clamp. Put it on before. All right. I'm not putting this on it this time. It's a Blazer. He's not going to hear it back there. If I know that it's not going to be heard, that I just don't put him on there, okay?
Yeah, your exhaust just needs to be louder.
Yeah, we know the exhaust is going to be plenty loud on this thing. It's only right in front of the axle. So, all right, so make sure your sock doesn't interfere with your sending unit. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, we're going to have to do some butt connectors.
You said butt. You know, I love a good butt joke.
Oh, I know you do. I know. According to that, those are 14 gauge wires. One of them's just a ground. The ground's not 14. Got it. Okay.
See a little spider on me. Go somewhere. Go somewhere.
It's a daddy longleg. They're the world's most poisonous spider.
Dun dun dun.
Come on. Get in there. Wish there was a buzzer or something that went off.
Yeah.
All right, so
Okay.
that portion of it's wired, okay?
Yay.
Okay. All right, so there's our high pressure pump fuel sending unit, okay?
Okay.
87. I already wired the wires that are going to go up to the engine compartment.
Okay.
Okay. So we just need to put it in the tank. This tank has got a baffle in it, just so you know.
Yep.
All right. Ready? Ready?
Sure.
Here we go. Ooh, the tank's hot. Ooh, come on. There you go. Wires in. Out. Come on. Come on now.
Come on now.
Also added a ground to it. Okay, so it's going to have its body ground in the back, but it's also going to have ground wire that goes all the way up to the ground lug on the front of the radiator support. Just a little extra added ground, which is never a bad thing. Alright, so there you go. Make sure you got new O-rings on there. Okay? Ready? So it's ready to install. I already checked the sending unit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? I wired it up. Checked the sending unit with an ohmmeter just to make sure it works. Alright, should we raise it up in the air to do it or do it on the ground?
I don't know. I'm pretty short. I could probably do it on the ground.
Alright, you do it on the ground.
Oh, sure.
Come here, Billy. Come here. Come on here, be cute.
You sit here and be
Sit
cute.
down. You want to sit down?
I don't like that.
Where's your ball? That's not a ball. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to get our new fuel tank and fuel pump put in this thing, all right?
Okay.
Before we did that, I did a bunch of the prep work on this. I replaced the original pressure line with a new high pressure line, okay? So it'll 225 pounds, this will hold. This is the original return line It's stainless steel line. It seems like it was in pretty good shape still, so I'm just gonna roll with that one. And I replaced my 1/4 inch evap line, okay?
Okay.
So new hoses on it. The old tank was completely full of gas. So I've got 20 gallons of rotten gas sitting over there.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what other people do with all the rotten gas that they pull out of the tank.
I think they just
Kind of a problem.
light a big fire.
Yeah. Or throw it into your neighbor's yard.
There you go.
If you do that, don't let us know.
No, don't
Okay.
tell me about that.
Okay. So, and I also replaced the lines. Anything that was a rubber line, I replaced them with high pressure line. Okay?
Yeah.
And then put a brand new Wix fuel filter on it. So from here up to the throttle body, brand new lines.
Yep.
Except for this return one, because it was still good. So let's put our fuel tank up.
Okay. Does that frisbee help?
Oh, no. Okay, I'm gonna do this with this tank empty, okay?
Yeah.
I'll put the fuel in it after we put it up.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
It's easier.
Yeah.
Okay, I already ran my wires to it from the tank all the way up to the, what'll be the fuse box, okay?
Okay.
This thing originally just had one ground that come out of it. It's tied onto the sending unit housing, and it bolts in up here, okay?
Okay.
But I added a ground wire, so it'll not only have that body ground, but it'll also have its own separate ground for the fuel system, okay?
Sweet.
Okay, so my line will go up and over.
Juice, you gonna help? No. Not unless there's snacks involved. Yeah.
So, this ends up happening in an angle, okay? Because of the filler neck tube. Alright, so hard to see up there, but I got to get up there at an angle and tighten up the lines, okay?
Okay.
If it didn't have a trailer hitch on, it's a little easier.
Take me to your leader.
Some pressure on it. Okay. Hot on there.
Yay.
Okay, the ground I can get from this side, so I just got to make sure I pull my wires up here.
Alright.
All right. Okay. I sprayed these down with WD-40.
Oh, we know.
Yeah. Make that a little easier. These I replaced. Brand new lines, they were kind of rotted. Okay, so I got to tighten those. Also sprayed the body mounts down with WD-40 because he wants to put a body lift on this truck. So that might make it a little easier
Yeah.
when we get to that point.
WD-40 makes everything better.
Oh, the straps seem a little long, don't they? Put these on before I forget. Yeah, so that ground's really easy to get to. Alright, so there's my ground for the fuel pump and the sending unit.
Okay.
I'll run it right where the other existing wires went through. Okay, on to the fun stuff. It's a lowrider.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's my new 12 gauge wire that goes down to the fuel pump. Okay.
Okay.
This purple one is my sending unit wire, which down on the sending unit it was purple too. It was gray down at the pump, but I didn't have a gray one, so I used a red. And this is my black ground, okay?
Okay.
And it'll get tied onto this ground here, like we always use.
Okay.
All right. You go?
Yep.
All right, so you might be wondering, why do we have a FiTech system sitting around here, okay?
Yeah.
All right, years back when these came out, we bought this for Emily's 1970 shop truck, and it had a 350 in it, and we just wanted to make it start and run nicer, okay?
Yep.
So we bought this. It went about a year, or a little over a year,
Yeah.
okay? And the processor went bad in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was out of warranty because it was like a year and a month, and it had been driven very little.
Yes.
Okay, so needless to say, not very happy. All right, so $300 and some later, after buying a processor for it, we're gonna use it. I also bought an extended warranty on it.
Ooh.
Okay, so I know that I'm good for. We can have it running for three more years now, I guess.
There we go.
Okay. So, but quite honestly, when these things are working, they work great. But when they don't work and when they fail on you that fast, I was a little upset with it. I wish I had just bit the bullet and spent the money on the one that I really wanted.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's my story with that. We got a new processor in it, so we're going to go ahead and we'll bolt it on this thing and wire it up and fire this truck up for the first time, okay?
Sweet.
Or at least that's the plan.
Yeah.
All right?
We'll see.
So, all right, step on up.
Okay.
There are a few other things that I don't really like about these, and I don't mind saying what, because honestly, the Hollies have some of the same issues that I don't like, but I don't like the vacuum, where the vacuum ports are for it, and how they're just weird, you know, weird spots. But this one, the new processor came with a relay setup for the fuel pump and everything, in a fuse box.
Ooh.
Okay, the original one didn't have relays for the fuel pump. It just ran straight through that, which I didn't do. I ran it through a relay no matter what. I just used its wiring to turn a relay on.
Yeah.
So, but I hope that this processor is updated in some way, and that's definitely a lot better than what it was.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, and also, we have run into people that have the other FiTech systems that just run LS swaps or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not that particular. That's the 400 horsepower and lower, their cheapest one. And the people that we run into that have the other systems, they don't have any complaints about them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, but I was just real unhappy with this one just because it failed on us that fast, okay? But it looks like maybe, hopefully it's a little better now.
And we got that extended warranty.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the first extended warranty I've ever bought.
Yeah. Yeah,
Honestly.
really.
All right, so temperature sensor, okay?
Okay.
I already screwed it into the block. Their sensor fit right into a small block Chevy port, okay? I like to go into the head there. People put them in the intake. You run low on water, the water level drops. That thing's not in water anymore, so I like to put them as low down as possible.
Yeah, but I mean, that's how you know that you're out of water.
Yeah, when your temperature gauge quits reading, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, an oxygen sensor. It requires an oxygen sensor. It's a Volkswagen oxygen sensor, actually. So, I already screwed it in. The throttle body manifold has a port for the O2 sensor in the very back of it. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, it already had it. If you were doing something that you didn't have that, you would have to weld in a bung. Okay.
It's almost as good as butt jokes.
Yeah. All right, and then they give you about 350 feet of wire. Okay. And I don't know why, but I guess it's better to have too much than too little wire. But I mean, I just had to take them. I just hide it down there somewhere. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and hook up my vacuum advance. The vacuum advance port also, it's in kind of a weird spot. It's kind of at an angle on the back of it. And it also, the back vacuum port, the one that they want you to run the PCV off of, it blocks the one on the intake manifold, on a performer manifold. All right, so you can't use that anymore. So if you want to use the vacuum lines, you have to tee into stuff.
Oh.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and put my PCV on. The FiTech, the computer reads a vacuum, so I don't have to worry about hooking up a vacuum gauge to it because I'll just read it off of that.
Yeah.
But normally I would put a vacuum gauge on it, starting something up brand new. All right, and then also the idle control motor. It kind of blocks the vacuum port for the power brake booster. And I don't hook the power brake booster up when I start something up because that's the source for a vacuum leak. If it was leaking and you didn't know.
Yeah.
So I just leave them off to begin with. And the vacuum lines that are on this are huge. They're bigger than 3/8. I don't know what size they are. I don't know. All right, so like I said, I already did my fuel lines, high pressure lines all the way up. The driver's side is the pressure side. The passenger is the return. You can run just a pressure line to these and block off the return, but I just use the return on it, and because it has its own pressure regulator in it. Okay.
Sweet.
So it's going to take that fuel pressure that we just made with that new pump, and it's going to make it 58 pounds. All right.
Perfect.
So these are 6 AN fittings. That's what the thing comes with. And I don't really care for the these fittings. I think they're kind of cheap.
The ones that actually go into the throttle line.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I suppose we need to bolt it down also, right?
Oh, possibly.
Some washers.
Ah, it's spider. How many spiders are going to be in this video?
It's not a good spider either. Alright, so I went into O'Reilly's and I said, give me the longest carburetor hold down studs you got.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I want to be here for a while.
yeah. So he said, here, good luck. We could just do a video on me replacing the processor, because just replacing the processor was a pretty good task.
Yeah.
Instructions would be nice. And I looked for instructions and I could not find any. They're probably out there, but if they are, they certainly didn't make it easy for me to find some instructions on it. Putting the processor in was a pretty straightforward thing, actually. But this thing is, the new processor is thicker. The only thing that was remotely strange about doing it was underneath here, there's this rubber plug that goes into the throttle body that probably measures a vacuum. And because this thing is thicker, there's a little spacer that comes with the new one. And if you didn't know that that's what that was for, if you didn't kind of really look at it and put that back on with just the wiring and didn't do the spacer, then you'd have big problems because it wouldn't be reading vacuum at all. And that's one of its main things that it works off of, because it is speed density. It's not using a MAF sensor, and the amount of vacuum is really important. You didn't put anything down the intake, did you, when I wasn't looking?
Just some quarters.
Oh no. I'm putting the corns to this one. I know what it feels like. You should probably actually torque it down. 4 corns.
4 corns.
But I think it probably gets about 90 inch-pounds. That's what it gets. Okay. So the throttle body's bolted on. Both fuel lines are going to it. All of our vacuum lines are hooked up in the back. My vacuum line for my brake booster, it's capped off. The vacuum ports in the intake manifold, they're all capped off. My vacuum advance is hooked up. Okay.
Okay.
So everything on the back is done. Now we just got to do some fancy wiring.
Sweet.
Okay. So after you got your O2 sensor done back there, there's really not all that many wires you got to do to make one of these work. Okay.
Okay.
The cooling sensor, it just plugs in. But these, you've got one that goes to the battery that is always hot. Okay.
Okay.
Hope.
Hope.
The orange one, that one actually goes and supplies power to your starter, or not your starter, I'm sorry, your fuel pump. Okay.
Oh.
So it'll go to our fuel pump wire that we just ran up from our fuel tank.
Okay.
A wire that goes to the negative side of the ignition coil for the tach. Okay. Because it's got to know your RPM. That's something that you have to have. All right.
Okay.
Black one we won't use. That's to kick up your idle if you have air conditioning. Okay.
Oh, okay.
White one, key on. Okay. So power with key on. So that one will actually tie to the pink one.
Oh, yeah.
That comes out of the bulkhead, out of the firewall. Okay.
Okay.
So, and this one will also go to the positive side of the ignition coil. All right, on the HEI, the positive.
Okay.
All right. So that's going to turn the system on, and then the yellow one will ground my fan circuit out to turn the cooling fans on.
Okay.
And those would be the only ones you would need. If you weren't using electric fans, you wouldn't have to use the yellow, and you wouldn't have to use the black if you didn't have air conditioning. So really, 4 wires is all it requires to get it going.
Sweet.
Okay, so which one do you want to do first?
Let's do the red one.
Okay, the red one. All right. So the battery cable that I use, it's for the LS swap, but it has a 6-gauge wire that comes out. That's as long as it is, but I'm going to use it to power this system for now. All right?
Okay.
So I added 3 12-gauge wires to it to run everything that I need. I'm going to use 2 of them for my fans because I didn't have any 10. So I'm just going to double up a couple of 12s. And then this is going to be the only one that we need to power up the interior of the truck, okay? Which will be the red one.
Yes.
Okay? So we're gonna go to that.
Yep.
Oh, and it also has to go to that one. All right. What a mess of wires. Okay. So let's do that red one first.
Okay.
This is the wire that used to go over to the lug over there. It got its power down off the starter. All right. And then the starter, the power wire from the starter come up and went to that one. That wire is a fusible link. I am running short on heat shrink connectors, so
Oh.
oh, I'm so excited to start this thing.
Yeah. Just hope there's more bolts tight inside the engine than there were outside.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that too much. It'll either work or it won't. Okay, so there's my battery power going to my FiTech system. My battery power going through fusible link and going into the bulkhead firewall of the truck. Okay.
Okay.
So, providing everything on the inside of the truck is okay. When we turn the key on to the run and crank position, we should have power at this one.
Yep.
All right. If I was smart, I would probably check it right now just so I know that it's okay. Should we do that?
Sure.
All right. I'm just going to do it using the battery power. Could do it with an ohm meter, but I'm going to check that pink wire with a test light when we turn the ignition into the run position. All right, so the pink wire comes into here. It's got nothing right now, okay?
Okay.
So go ahead and turn the key on. The dinger works, so I know we're getting power in there.
Yeah.
All right, so that works. Try it in the crank position too. Is that cranking?
Yep.
All right, so it has power then also. All right.
Okay.
While we're doing it, let me check the purple crank wire. We'll see if it works also. Yep, go for it. All right. Is that with the clutch pushed in?
Yep.
Try it with the clutch not pushed in. You don't have to worry about starting. Okay. All right, so the safety switch on the clutch, it works. So that's good to know. All right. So far everything's looking pretty good on the interior stuff and what's coming out. All right.
Awesome.
Let's do our fuel pump, okay?
Okay.
And then we'll wire up the fuel pump, but we'll check it.
Oh, yeah.
We'll check it for leaks, you know.
Yeah.
I'd rather know that it's leaking now before we try and start it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like how small the wire is also that they used going down to the fuel pump.
Yeah.
It goes into a big connector. That's at least a 12 right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then it bumps down to a 14. So I don't know why they wouldn't just keep with a nice size wire. I ran a 12 down there,
Yeah.
but I mean, on most the LS engines, it's a 14 that goes down to them. So I know the 14 is fine, but I just don't understand why they did that.
Yeah. We've
And,
checked the amperage on a pump, haven't
Yeah.
we? It's not a lot.
No. Okay, so the pump's brand new. We've never run it. So what we can do, this is our wire that's going down to the fuel pump, and we've got that body ground down there. We don't have the other ground hooked up yet, but we can just basically check and see if the body ground works. So I'm just hooking my starter button up.
Yep.
Okay, positive side of the battery to that positive that's going down to the fuel pump. And if I push the button, we should hear something happen up here. We'll get fuel pressure, but we'll run the fuel pressure for a while and make sure we don't have any leaks going on, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready? You want to hear the noise?
Yeah.
You hear it?
Ooh, I hear the pump back there.
Yep. All right, so it's running. So I'm sure it's passing through there by now. So when we fire this thing up, it won't have any leaks, okay? Because in order to replace that, I had to take off both sides that cover the fuel injectors. So both sides fuel injectors were pulled apart, and then they have 4 seals, 2 on each side. So I replaced those. So that would be a possibility for it to leak right there, but it doesn't, okay?
Sweet.
So I don't want to have it started up and have fuel spraying all over the place.
No, that'd be bad.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, so let's do the power with the key on now. That has to go to the distributor, and it also has to go to the white wire on the FiTech. Okay?
Yeah.
It says key, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so this is the wire that used to come out and go to the ignition coil that was separate on the throttle body injection, okay?
Okay.
So we won't use that plug anymore. All right, and I'm just going to leave it as long as possible right now because it's not permanent.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to go to over to the HEI, the high energy ignition.
Ooh. Sounds cool, man.
That's my high school nickname.
High energy ignition.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here we go. That one's going to go to the positive side of the coil, okay?
Okay.
Let's just run it up. Through here for now. Oh, these are so much easier to do if you have the right plug that goes in them. Because you really got to make sure you got it in there. You don't want them driving down the road and having it wiggle out. So we'll probably buy the plug for it. But for now, we'll use my poor man's method. Okay, so the other end of that needs to go to the FiTech to fire up the FiTech system, all right?
Okay.
There. These are amazingly small wires.
I was gonna say, that's like teeny tiny.
All right, I do have a bunch of the smaller solder butt connectors.
But?
So we'll use those. Okay, so that one's taken care of. That one will supply the FiTech with power with the key on start and run position.
Okay.
Okay, so all we have left is a tack wire and wire up the fans, and we're going to fire this baby up. We'll have to add some coolant to it also.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That whole thing.
Yep. Okay. The tack wire. It's blue, right? So we're going to keep with blue since we can.
Oh, hello. What are you doing?
I'm back.
Here I am.
Alright, so the tack wire, it goes to the negative side of the distributor, HEI. It even says it on the top of the thing, when it says battery on the right hand side, and then it says tack right there, okay?
Oh, cool.
It makes it easy for people like me.
Juice, come here.
That's all I do.
Here she comes.
Alright, we'll let that one cool off for just a second.
Okay.
Okay, so that is going to be our tack wire. What have we got left? We got the fans to do, all right?
Okay.
And this is the LS fan. It's the dual fan. We've done a video on it, wiring it up. I wired this one up in series only right now. LS is series parallel. We've done a video on that. But if the fan's in series circuit, it's going to be both fans running at about half speed, which will be fine to
Okay.
cool this thing off. It doesn't need full blast fans on it. And if it does, then we got big issues. Okay?
Yes.
So, in order to make that work, we're going to have to wire in a relay.
Ooh.
So, our trigger wire is the yellow one. It is going to be the ground to turn our relay on, all right?
Okay.
So, it'll just be that. So, our white wire we need to supply power to, and then we need to supply power to pin 30, which is the red one on this. And we will do that with these two.
Okay.
Okay? And we're just gonna do all of them together right there. Okay?
Together forever.
Forever.
Aww.
And those, since I have the battery hooked up, those are hot right now, okay? So I gotta be careful not to touch them on anything. Ooh, don't let me forget to hook the ground.
Okay. Do you want to put heat shrink
Oh,
on?
no, yeah, I need heat shrink. Give them a good pull, make sure you've got a good connection.
Okay.
Okay, so we need a ground, which is going to be the FiTech, right?
Okay.
So that's our yellow wire, our ground. We'll go to that yellow. And then our blue is going to go to our fan at the end of the series circuit.
Okay.
Okay. Blue on blue, how did that work out?
I don't know.
That's the other thing too, on that, the FiTech, we have the instructions still from when we bought that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to look at the wiring instructions on it, because you would not want to think that that fan is a power lead, you know.
Yeah.
It's a ground, and the instructions say, they let you know that it's a ground source. So, because if you wired your fans up thinking that that was a power source, they just wouldn't work. But
Yeah.
but you might want to know ahead of time.
Yeah. Save you some headaches.
Okay, so that little wire is the FiTech grounding off the thing, off the fan relay, all right?
Okay.
So technically, since we have power going to them, if I touch this to ground, our fans should run at half speed, okay? And they should be pulling air that way. You don't want to wire them backwards, all right? Wow. So we know that portion works. So as long as the FiTech thing does its job, it will turn our cooling fans on if we hook that wire up, all right?
Sweet.
Oh, I don't even have the fans grounded yet. How are they getting power? What did I do there, grounded? Oh, it was grounded on the bumper. It was laying on the bumper like that.
Oh no.
And that's the only source of ground for the... Did it?
Yep.
Let's plug our tack wire in. It's cooled down by now, I'm sure. I know that this is not a fancy wiring job, but I just want to start this thing.
Yeah.
We'll clean it all up later. Alright, there it goes. Okay, so we got our tack wire done, we got our fans done. Let's hook up the grounds before we forget. Okay, and I also added a body ground to it, okay, because it doesn't have one coming off the battery, so I ran one over to the block.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not my best wiring ever. All these wires, except for that purple one, they go to the gauges inside the truck, so we'll leave them there because we will do them. Pull the purple one out, make sure it's not touching anything, metal, okay?
Oh yeah.
Alright, so this green wire is the one that goes down to our starter solenoid to make the starter turn over. We've already used this one in prior videos to crank it over for oil pressure. And we will put it on the end of our remote starter.
Okay.
Pull the insulator over it so it doesn't touch anything.
Very smart.
See if it turns over, okay?
Okay.
It does.
Okay.
Good. You ride that.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. They're excited.
Alright, let's fire this baby up, okay? Give her some coolant.
Juice.
Oh, that feels good.
And this is the LS cooling system, but this is a different bottle than what we've shown in the past.
Yep.
This is like what's on a 07, 08 Suburban or whatever. We used it on the 70 and it worked really nice.
Yeah, it saves a little room.
Yep. It's harder to mount,
Yes.
but it was quite a bit smaller.
Sorry, Juice. Sorry.
Juice gets stepped on.
Alright, stay down. You gotta stay down, alright? This is engine stuff. Very important.
Very important. No horseplay. No dog play. Yeah, come here. Come get your fish. Bring your fish. There you go.
still not enough water in there. Huh. I've added about 10 gallons of water already. It's kind of a big radiator.
I was gonna say, it's very pretty though.
The FiTech has to have 170 degrees in order for it to start to self-learn. So since it's an electric fan, it should heat up, but it's going to take a while. It's got a lot of water in it. Unless it's all going into the engine block. I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll see. Okay. There, now it's starting. Alright. Oh, it's doing something. Okay. Alright, well, I'm confident it has enough water in it to run it, okay?
Okay.
Once we fire it up, I got more water there if I need to add to it.
Okay.
I can do that, but let's get the FiTech going. Alright?
You finally found me.
Hmm?
You finally found me.
Here they come.
Can't run forever.
Alright, so the FiTech has its own little, what would you call it, handheld thing?
Yeah.
Alright, you can mount it inside the truck and watch everything go on. But we're going to do it out here. It plugs into that one. That.
Okay.
Okay?
Let's let the sirens go by. Did you hear that, Ripley?
They didn't find you. Look at that. Okay. So, let's go to EFI initial setup, alright?
Okay.
Engine setup. Alright, we're going to have to turn the key on, okay?
Okay.
Doesn't recognize anything. So,
Okay.
go ahead and turn the key on.
The pump find.
Yeah. Yep. Oh. So, I'm going to add the top dot.
Top Don.
Okay?
Yeah, shout out to Top Don. They
Cool.
sent us one of these little jump pack things, and it's been super handy.
It's awesome. Alright, so I'm going to just add that to it for some power because we're going to run the battery for a little while and then we're going to fire this thing up. So,
Okay.
alright, so we use that to help us out. Good. So, initial setup. Fuel setup, idle fan, engine setup. Okay, it's an 8-cylinder. It's 350 cubic inches. Okay. Cam. It has got a stock cam in it, so I'm going to go with a 1.
Okay.
All right. Rev limiter, 7,000 RPM. I don't think we want to rev this thing up to 7,000, so just to be safe, for now, let's take it down to 5,000. All right. Whatever. Okay. Idle RPM, warm, 720. Let's make it 750 just to give it a little break.
Okay.
Percent ethanol. What did I put in it? Put in 92 octane, I think, but it has some ethanol in it. But what is?
Some of them say up to 10%, but it's usually like, I want to say 3%.
Yeah. We'll give it some just to let it think it's doing something. Okay.
Yeah.
3% ethanol. Pulse width modulated low flow. So that's for a pulse width modulated fuel pump. We're going to go with 100% on it. Reset fuel learn. It's already at 0. And the map sensor.
Yeah.
Barometric pressure sensor. Okay?
Okay.
So hit OK, send it to ECU. So it knows all that. Fuel setup. Ethanol regulator referenced, yes. Okay. Back. I'd let you do this, it'd probably work better. Idle screw set, TPS 0, normal. Okay. Everything's good there. Fan. Fan on temperature. Okay. I don't know why it's at 174, but you wouldn't want that. So let's turn the fan on at 195. Okay.
Okay.
And then fan off. What do you think?
Well, it's got to be 170 to do the self-learning.
Right. So let's do 185.
Okay.
And then option fan 1 enabled. Yes. Because we're running electric fans, so we want it to run it. Okay. Air conditioning control. We're not messing with it anyway, so we'll just disable it. No air conditioning.
Okay.
Reset learn, fault clear, all those are already cleared out. So it's starting fresh, okay?
Yep. Yeah, we did have to put new software in the handheld thing also with that
Yes.
different ECU.
Yes. So we did initial timing, or initial setup, right?
Yep.
Display, fault code. All right. So from there, it knows what it's going to be running, and we should be fine. It'll fire up. We'll watch the vacuum, all right? And we'll watch the coolant temperature. Right now, it already knows the coolant that's in it, 73 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to shoot for a 12.35 to 1 air-fuel ratio.
Okay.
Okay, when we fire it up, but 14.7 to 1, once it warms up a little bit, it's probably what the deal is. And throttle position, 0, so it knows the throttle positions. It's not open at all. Okay, let's check that. Okay, so that works. It measures the air temperature too. The battery, and okay. All right, so we want to watch our RPM and our vacuum, and what else? Oh, air fuel ratio, and then we also want our coolant temperature. Okay.
Okay.
So we can read our RPM, our air fuel ratio, and our vacuum, and our coolant temperature.
Okay.
All right. So the ignition's on, right? Let's give it a little boost with the top down.
Okay.
Good. You want to do the honors?
You go for it.
Sure.
Yes.
Fire extinguishers right there. Right there.
Right there. Right there. We're prepared.
We know we set the base timing at 8 to 10 degrees.
Yep.
This thing will start up. If we've done everything correctly, it'll fire right up. It'll try to maintain the air-fuel ratio that is programmed in it right now, which it'll run pretty good. This motor's never run before. We're going to run it for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring it up to about 2,000 RPM. I'm going to watch the coolant temperature on it, and we're going to break flat tap at cam in.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. A little bit more than a regular will it run.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Let the fun begin.
It's a moment of truth.
Cheers.
Cheers.
You sure you don't want to do it?
No.
Okay. Here we go.
That way you're responsible.
We can at least do a countdown. 3, 2, 1. people.
You want to come here?
Come on, jump. Yeah. Have a cheek kiss? Rip.
Give your mom a cheek kiss.
Come here. Give me a cheek kiss. No. Give me a cheek kiss. Oh, you are such a turd. Come here.
Come back this way.
Yeah.
Can I have a cheek kiss?
Ripley.
Ripley, you do it.
Yeah.
You talk. Oh?
Okay, so the age-old question. Will it run? Yes. Will it overheat? Also yes.
Yes. From the moment we fired it up, it immediately built pressure inside the cooling system, and the temperature just started skyrocketing. So it has a problem with the cylinder head or head gasket. So that was a real bummer. It also has oil pressure that's fluctuating really bad. And so it probably has some bearing problems or some kind of oil pump issue going on there. So knowing this truck, the guy probably left the bolt loose if he was actually the person that bolted the oil pump on. So
Yeah.
otherwise the pickup tube maybe is falling off of it or something like that. But so it has some problems, and we knew that going into it, that we were taking on somebody else's project, and we were taking a little bit of a gamble to see how it went, but we found out.
Yep.
So the one thing, or the two things that did work perfectly, the FiTech fuel injection system, it did work really nicely.
Yeah.
It fired right up, and it made that engine run really well. It also had a misfire from the cooling problem, but even with that, it did run really nice. And even this morning, it started right up, and it's pretty nice. Okay. Also, our thanks to Top Don, they sent us out this jump starter that we talked about a little bit in the video. I can't believe how well this thing works. It's amazing. I love it. They even have bigger ones, and I think I'm gonna go buy a bigger one actually, because I've been using it like crazy. So
Yep, so if you need a jump pack, it is super handy and super easy to use. Not a sponsor, but if you need one, go get one. They're super nice to have.
yep, thanks again.
Yes, thank you, Top Don.
Yep. This Blazer, we're gonna stop messing around with the small block Chevy that's in it. We're gonna do a 6-liter LS swap in it. We'll also put a four-wheel drive automatic transmission in it also, and get rid of the clutch that's in it.
Yep.
So, and I think we're gonna do some Gen 4 stuff to it. So that'll be some cool wiring coming up, LS related stuff, and I'm excited about it, and I hope you tune in for it.
Yep, we've had a lot of questions about Gen 4 stuff, so we're finally gonna break into that game. So that's super exciting. I hope you guys stick around for that. We appreciate you guys watching, and we will catch you next time.